Welcome to the Reefers Show.
And introducing your host.
Inappropriate Reefer!
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Reefers? Welcome to the Reefers Show. This show is about four really different reefers just getting together, kind of like talking about how they manage their reef tank and maybe possibly giving some advice and just sharing experience. So the four reefers are Michael of Aaron's Aquarium.
Hi.
Yeah, CJ's of CJ's Aquarium. And then Dev's from Reef Dudes. And of course, there's me, Moki, at Inappropriate Reefer. So today we're going to do things slightly differently. Today we want to talk about beginner corals, great beginner corals, and we're going to recommend 8 different beginner coral. But we're going to do it more like a game show. We're going to play a game. Basically, we're going to go down the list. Each person is going to recommend a coral, and they have 3 minutes, just 3 minutes, to give you like a brief on like how this coral is, what's the best way to raise these corals, and any experience or any recommendation, and why they make a great beginner's coral. So as you see, 3 minutes, not a lot of time. So let's get started. So first, we're gonna go to Dev of Reef Dudes. You're on the clock.
All right. So you want to know kind of my top recommendations of beginner corals. So I would say probably the number one everyone loves beginner coral would be GSP.
I wanted to say GSP.
Too
He's
late.
on the clock.
I'm on the clock.
He's on the clock.
So,
Go.
Sorry, go on.
okay, so GSP or green star polyps. It is fluorescent, super bright green. It provides good movement in your tank, and you can't kill it if you try. So I think it's a great beginner coral. Now, the only one caveat with that, everyone loves it. I have some in my tank as well, but it's one of those ones that can take over and grow over other corals. So if you're gonna have it, keep it on the sand bed, keep it on its own rock or its own island so it doesn't grow over everything else. But I'd say that's by far one of my favorite. Super duper easy, can't kill if you try corals. Another one.
Oh,
Whoa, what kind of a one? Just one.
Oh, I thought I thought I had 3 minutes.
Yeah, 3 minutes to talk about one coral?
Well,
look.
do you have any experience?
Don't edit this out, Mucky.
All right, okay. All right, so you're just gonna have to wait for the rest. So with GSP, honestly, you cannot kill that stuff. It's easy to frag. I'll literally take my hands in there and just rip off a chunk of it and give it to people. You can take scissors, anything you want. This stuff is absolutely bulletproof. You can make it grow like actually Inappropriate Reefer. You have some growing as a carpet on the bottom of Moki's tank, which looks really awesome. I've also seen people let it grow up the back wall of a tank or on the glass. So you can do some really cool stuff with it and give it almost like this lifelike planet tank kind of flowing grass look to the tank. So I think it's really cool coral. My only advice is do not put it on your main rock because it can potentially grow over top of other corals and take over, but on its own, bulletproof, very vibrant, and a great beginner's coral.
Excellent.
All right.
Wait
Thank you,
it
I'll
up.
take that one.
Raise the bar high. All right. The guy with the Be Easy mug, CJ's Aquarium. Are you ready?
Yeah.
You need a moment.
Good. No, we good.
Be good?
Easy work. Easy work.
All right.
Buddy.
All right. 3 minutes. Go for it. What is one of your favorite beginner's coral?
All right. Oh, just to make sure we're clear here, no one can repeat another person's answer, right? Okay. So
Yep.
yeah. So I got 3 minutes. It's easy. So let's
Don't
start
have to
off
talk
with
for
one.
3 minutes either.
Yeah. Let's go because it's a bunch. It's a bunch of easy ones, man. Kenya tree, which I'll say is easy, but I've actually killed every Kenya tree I've had in my system. But it's one of those things, man, that it's known as a coral that can take over. And it seems like every easy coral is known as a coral that can actually take over everything. So gives you great movement as far as it growing and flowing in the wind and all of that good stuff. Grows very fast. It drops branches to where it can, repopulate your tank, fill in a lot of space, and it's very low maintenance. So I used it on my first tank at the top as a pillar or as the, top of a mountain with a tree. It's kind of the thought I was having with it. And it did well. It did very well. But in my recent system and the JBJ,
Still
for
my
this
absolute favorite tank.
right. I actually killed it. I actually killed Kenya tree. It just melted away. I couldn't keep it alive. Go figure, right? But definitely is one of those things that, as an undervalued coral, experienced people look at it as a pest. But anyone that's new and you're looking for that instant gratification, that success, go ahead and get you some Kenya tree and some GSP. And I'll be disqualified. and keep it moving. Keep doing what you do, baby. That's my answer.
Awesome. That's a minute and a half.
Ooh.
We can try to stretch it out a little bit. All right, Michael's of Aaron's aquarium. Are you
Right,
ready?
so
I know
We
this
took
may
all
be-
his answers away already.
Yeah, this may be tough for you because I know you're all into like the higher end corals. So we're going back to the roots. Beginner's corals. What would you recommend your friend get if it's a beginner's
back
coral?
to the roots. Well, you know, I haven't really focused on this type of coral for a while, but I would probably say toadstool. Now, toadstool is a brilliant beginner coral because, again, like what CJ was saying and what Deb was saying, it is very bulletproof. You know, it's very difficult to kill the thing. You can, but it's not easy to do so. And it can become quite big. It can become a real centerpiece. You know, I've seen people that use toadstools as a beautiful centerpiece to a tank. Toadstools also come in various different colorations. You know, you can have ones that you see most time, like which is like a pinky color, like a flesh color, but then you can get ones with like, you know, beautiful green tips and stuff like that. So, you know, they can really bring a beautiful, vibrant, you know, like demographic to your system. So toadstools are just absolutely fantastic. They're also great for giving you your first ever fragging experience, whether you can call it fragging or not, I don't know, but you know, they are really, really easy to propagate. You know, it's literally the case of going into your tank with a pair of scissors and snipping a top off the top of the mushroom, and boom, you know, getting a cocktail stick or some elastic bands, putting it on another rock, and boom, you've got another coral, you know, in not so long of a time. So toadstools for me are an absolute awesome beginner coral because they're beautiful, they're very eye-catching, they're great centerpieces, and they're really good at giving you that first introduction into propagating your own corals.
Care requirements?
Care requirements?
Uh-oh.
Nothing. I don't even know. You put me on the spot there. Edit this out.
Hey, no. You gotta leave that in. Listen, I forgot my current requirements. It would help fill in an extra minute and a half. I think it's good.
I don't need that minute. I don't need to.
Oh, we're at 2 minutes right now. We're at 2 minutes.
Okay.
We got 1 minute.
Okay.
All right. Care requirements then. When it comes to looking after a toadstool, when it comes to the care requirements for a toadstool, you know, realistically, there's not that much you need to do. You know, most of these things will survive in the dark. So, you know, they will grow, they will thrive. Also, as well, don't freak out. If you ever see them looking to be peeling, you know, it looks like the skin's coming off them and they're all shriveled up and things, don't freak out because they shed their skin when they grow. And they look a bit thingy, and they do it quite often as well. So don't panic, don't freak out. It's just doing what it does naturally. You know, and that's it really. They are filter feeders, you know, they have little things, so they will pick food up and stuff out of the water, and you're all good. That's all you really need to think about when it comes to a toadstool. So that is my first beginner coral.
Wow. Michael,
Very
you're
nice.
right on the 3 minute mark. That was
On the money.
He has been doing this for a
Very
while.
nice.
Oh my goodness. All right, so I guess it's my turn. So I'm kind of surprised nobody really picked this one yet. I'll say mushroom corals. Mushroom corals, super simple. They require low light, medium lights. They can take bright light as well, as long as you acclimate to it. But they just grow so fast, and they come in a variety of color. Like if you want to look at the higher end ones, we got like jawbreaker, and we got some even crazier one, like even bounce mushroom, right? They all kind of fall into the same family. So in terms of like the care level is really beginner, but in terms of like values and like collectability, it ranges. So you have a lot of choices, and it's also really easy to frag. Essentially, you just leave the frag there, it will just spread. And a lot of people actually do not like mushroom corals because they have a tendency to kind of take over and suffocate out of corals, especially with SPS. A lot of people actually just kind of chip them away, throw them away, seeing them as pests. But as a just easy to keep coral, I think they're great for filling up spaces, especially shaded area of your tank where other things may not grow. True, you may be able to grow some like MPS in there, but again, we're talking about like beginning corals, things that you don't want to like need a lot of maintenance on. So I think in those cases, mushroom corals and other like similarly lower light requirement coral would be perfect. And for that reason, mushroom coral is one of my favorite in terms of great beginner's coral.
There you go.
Cool.
Yep.
Care requirements?
Okay, requirement. Low lights, low to medium light, it can be acclimated to higher light. And in terms of flow, really, I mean, I think low flow, medium flow, they're probably happiest at lower flow. They tend to open a little bit larger. And when they're in the shade, they open a little bit larger as well to increase that surface area for light. But they're seriously really bulletproof. I have not had any issue at all with mushroom corals.
There you go.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah.
The
All
host.
right.
Well done. Yeah.
All right.
Second. Go ahead.
All right, so now we're gonna kind of circle back. It's gonna get a little tougher now since we cannot repeat what we've said and what a coral had been brought up before. So now, Michael looks a little nervous right now. It's like, wait, you can't go online and look at like different websites now.
Yeah, is that what he's doing?
I see those eyes going to the second
I'm
screen.
just a guy with a phone.
No.
I can't search the internet while we talk.
No. All right, we gotta go quick. All right, we gotta go right back to death.
I've got two people in front of me. I can
All right, Death.
Okay.
No,
What's our
whoa. No, he skipped me. I went first.
Oh, CJ went first. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oh no, Def went first.
Wait, Death went first. Death went first.
Def
Death
went
went
first.
first.
with GSP?
It's very important the order that we go through. No,
Wait,
he
Def
went
went
first. GSP.
Def
Yeah.
went
Never
first.
Death went first. Death went first.
Okay,
You're
my
trying to
bad.
steal my
Go ahead.
sunshine, CJ.
Yeah, CJ kind of sneak one in there.
Dang.
All right.
All right, Death.
Okay. Hey,
Whenever you're ready.
do recordias count as mushrooms, or are they different?
Count as mushrooms.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
Ooh.
Yeah.
That was tough.
All right. Okay. So next on my list for, I'd say, easier corals that has not been covered, I would say zoas.
Ah,
Dang, that's what I was going to do.
Oh, no.
I wanted to go.
CJ, go online real quick. Do some search.
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So zoas or zoanthoids are, for the most part, very easy corals. Sometimes you do get finicky ones that can melt off, but 90% of the time, they're super easy. They prefer dirty water. I mean, you can be a little more lax on your maintenance, and they're still going to grow and thrive in your tank. Even in clean tanks, most of the time, they do well. Like, they'll just catch little particles of food. They are extremely colorful, and they can spread over and create their kind of colonial animals. So they'll spread, and they'll create their little network, and they'll keep growing more and more heads. They can fill a big area, and they look awesome in your tank. There's so many different colors. You can literally get zoas of any color you can possibly think of. You can have a complete rainbow in your tank of zoas. Super easy tank. I mean, that top-down view is just stunning. Especially when we get really cool ones like Utter Chaos is probably one of my favorites right now. But tons of just amazing colors. And yeah, I'd say 95% of the time I add a zoa to my tank and it thrives. I've had the odd one where it's kind of melted away and hasn't been happy for some reason. So there's the odd kind of finicky one. But overall, I'd say they're just amazing coral. And even my nano, I almost did a straight up just 100% zoa tank just because it would have been beautiful. But I would recommend them to pretty much any starter tank, anyone new into the hobby, because they're, for the most part, hard to kill. They grow and they provide brilliant color to your tank.
Awesome.
Good deal.
great.
How do you take care of them?
How do you take care of them? You really don't have to do much. When I do feed my tank, I do try and feed them just a little bit. Whenever I feed frozen food, usually I get the fish all the big chunks, and zoas, I'll give them a little squirts of little mysis juice left over. They probably only need a little bit of it, but I do feel that it helps them grow faster when I feed them. So that little bit of target feeding gets better growth. So I try and do that with my favorite ones in the tank, so hopefully I get more of them and propagate bigger colonies. So very easy to do. They do prefer a little bit dirtier water. So if your water is super duper clean and polished, then they might not thrive and grow as fast as they do in a dirtier tank. But if you like to be a lazy reefer, a little lax on it, it's, you know, one of your bigger bang for your buck corals.
Awesome. That's great, man.
Good deal. Good deal.
Well done. Well done. Even though you took the one that I wanted to talk about, but
All right.
2 in a row. All right, I'm on a roll.
All right, Mr. BEC Reefer, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it, man. You got 3 minutes.
I'm so glad I'm not Michael because he got to go after all of us.
I think I've got this.
If anyone sees the reflection of his screen off of his face, that means he's googling something. First and
Hey,
foremost.
listen. If you say what I'm about to say, then I'm gonna swear.
My choice is
Go on.
Xenia.
Oh.
Paulson Xenia.
It wasn't what I was gonna say.
It wasn't. Dang. Okay, good. I'll get you next round. All right. Paulson Xenia, pom-pom corals, whatever you want to call them. Beautiful, beautiful corals. These are actually one of the corals that, as a new hobbyist, really attracted me because they moved. You know, one of the biggest things about this hobby when you first start off is things that move and sway and make things happen. And these guys actually move on their own by open and pulsing. So they're like a little piece of feather, I guess, a feather hand or something, if you want to call it like a flower head. that open and close, and they're really, really attractive as far as the movement. Now, color-wise, they're definitely not, colorful as zoas or anything, but they definitely do a great job of attracting your attention. Very easy to keep. I would put them on the same par as Kenya trees, easy to keep corals that will take over your tank if you allow them to. Now, most times people, like I said, experienced people avoid these corals because they can actually jump from one rock to the next or detach and float from one rock to the next. A lot of these corals can actually move on their own against your will, unfortunately. So, if you're going to keep Xenia, best thing to do, keep them isolated on their own rock. Keep a very, close eye for any stragglers that may detach and try to jump all over the place. Give them low flow, so that way they can actually, not be getting beat up by flow as they try to open and close, so you can actually enjoy them. And low light. I mean, some people actually consider these nutrient export, a way of absorbing nutrients from your tank, grow them in their sump and harvest them and just do everything. I think it's definitely a fantastic beginner coral and one that will help you get confidence as you grow in the hobby. So that's my choice.
That's a great
care requirements.
Low flow, low light, baby. I thought I said that. You interrupted my drink.
What happens if you put them in really clean water?
Real clean water, they will shrivel up and die. And they're also very sensitive to alkalinity swings, too. So if you have really high alk, I actually killed those too in my last tank. I killed Kenya Tree and Xenia in my last tank. Ain't that something? Who does that?
You got skill.
CJ could wipe out the population of cockroaches.
Man, I'm telling you.
Really good on time as well. It was 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So
There we go.
right up there. That's awesome.
Ooh,
All right, Michael, I know you got like a secret weapon. You got something ready. Just look at that smile. You got it ready.
I've got
All
a
right.
curveball. I've got a curveball.
All
for
right.
this.
Are you ready?
For this? I'm
Ready?
balling it up. Are you ready? Here it comes.
All right,
Here it
pitch it.
comes. Montipora Cap. Monty Cap.
Okay.
See, so.
I don't know.
Okay.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
Yes, I don't know if this is allowed. I'm
they're
gonna let
good.
this pass. Can we take a vote?
What color
Montipora
Monty
Cap.
Vote in the
Cap?
comments.
Okay. All right. Vote in the comments. Hey,
Yeah, comment.
excluded.
Do you guys think we should
Excluded
disqualify
for this.
Michael?
Okay. Yes.
Yes, that's it.
Cap.
But
All right, well, let's hear him out.
we-
Let's hear him out.
We said beginner corals. We didn't say soft corals. Now, this is
Very
the
true.
reason why. Because what everybody seems to do, everyone seems to go down the route of soft corals for beginner corals. And I believe that Monty Cap is one that beginners can go for, because as long as you're regimented with your water changes, which you should be, whether you've got, soft corals, LPS or SPS, you should be keeping up with your water changes and things like that. And if you've got an half decent light, it doesn't have to be, super, super brilliant light. Montipora will do great. Montipora can grow really, really well. And it adds a completely different look to a tank with the way that it plates and way it spirals and the way it grows. It's a really beautiful coral. Now, there is different variations, and I do stress that this is Montipora Cap. This isn't the other versions of Montipora like Digitata and stuff like that. This is just the plates that you see that spiral, and especially red Montipora Cap. Red is probably the most hardiest and the quickest growing one of them. Green and purple don't tend to be more of a beginner one. So, that is my little disclaimer. But Montipora Cap, care requirements, as long as you have, decent levels of calcium, magnesium, and alkalinity in the system, and you're providing a half decent light, you can just watch Montipora grow. So there isn't a lot that you need to do. Just keep up with your regular water changes, just as you would with all of the corals that we've said before, and you're all good. So that is my little curveball. That is my little thing, because I personally think Monty Cap is a good beginner coral. There you go. This is going to cause something.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Nice. I'm throwing a quick vote for the purple Monty Cap, because in my tank that outgrows the green and the red, and all the other ones hands down. It grows like crazy.
Wow.
I grew
Mine
some in the JBJ too. I guess I could say that, but it didn't grow fast, and it definitely wasn't.
Did it die though?
Okay, it didn't die.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
So here we
We'll
go.
give it
So
that.
here's my point proved. The Montipora Cap didn't die, but Kenya Tree and Xenia did. Oh, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I would kind of have to
Touche.
agree with Michael as well. I mean, my Monty Cap was doing pretty well, even when my tank, I was not dosing in tank, and it's going for a lot of swing. I have a lot of algae issue. Monty Cap sometimes receive back, but they always come back, and it has just been really hard in my tank as well, even in the previous conditions. So, Michael would be onto something.
Still up to the comments. To
That is
decide.
true.
We'll let them
Leave a
decide.
comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is that's what the comment section is for. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Let us know what you think. But I personally think that is a nice little, and it's a nice little segue into your next step. I think your next step in the hobby.
It definitely gives you confidence. Yeah,
And if
that's great.
CJ can keep it alive when he's killing Xenia, then that's all I'm saying.
Oh man! All right, before it gets any nastier, I'm gonna go. So my turn, my second round. Start the timer right here. My second choice for a personal favorite beginner coral would be frog spine, of course, right? What else could it be? Now, in terms of euphilia, I think for the most part they are relatively easy, but a disclaimer is that I'm talking about the branching variety of euphilias. Now, we got like warhammers, right? Those are a little bit tougher because it's essentially one single head. If you damage one part, you get infection, the entire colony is going to go. For branching, if something goes wrong, say if you get like brown jelly disease or anything like that on one branch, you just break it off. And just in my experience of frog spawn, for these couple tanks I've set up, it has been pretty much bulletproof, and they're pretty tolerant of low light. I was running, I think, power compact light before, just like one white power compact and one blue one. I think they're like 13 watts each over a 10-gallon tank. Frog spawn sitting right in the middle of the tank, not even the top, and it just looks good, and it's healthy, and it's growing. It's growing slower, right? Not as fast as I have it right now under the higher power light, but it is growing. It's doing well, and they always look so nice. It has that flowing motion that a lot of especially the beginner reefers like me really appreciate. And also they tend to fill in the tank so well, and they also have this great value. If you see somebody selling a frog spawn colony on a local reef clubs forum, usually it's like $70 or $80 for like a almost like a melon size colony of frog spawn, and they grow so fast. I'll say they probably double the amount of heads every year if your water condition is decent. So for me, I feel like frog spawn is a no-brainer on my list as one of my favorites beginner corals. In terms of care requirements, I feel like they do like slightly dirtier water, but of course, like the cleaner water is of course better as well. And in my experience, I find that if you leave the frog spawn in a lower flow area, the tentacle tend to be a little bit puffier and a little bit larger. Versus in the higher flow area, they'll contract a little bit more because I guess they don't want the tissue to be ripped away. Same thing with lights. I noticed that when they're under lower light, the tentacles tend to be a little bit puffier to increase the surface area. Versus if it's really bright, although the tentacle will be a little bit more contracted, but the color is a little bit more intense because a lot of the pigments are a little bit closer together. So with all that in mind, I just feel like frog spawn is just so dynamic. Regardless what form it takes, it always looks great in a tank. And I just think it's just like I wouldn't say completely bulletproof, but it's pretty close to bulletproof in terms of if you run a halfway decent reef tank, it's a nice addition.
There you go.
All right.
There you go.
Nice,
There you go.
nice.
I
Good
like
choice,
that.
good
I like
choice.
that.
Right.
Who don't like frog spawn? Who don't like you?
Yeah, man, who doesn't like frog spawn? Leave a comment.
Most people get into this hobby for euphilia, don't
Yeah.
they? You know,
And for the record, his answer excludes all euphilia from the rest of the contest. So don't be trying to sneak in torch corals and all that.
we got more rounds.
Okay, you know what? We're only going to do 2 rounds, but I feel like there are a lot of corals we have not touched on. Yeah, I feel like people still want to go. Why don't we go faster?
All right.
We've been doing like 3 minutes, right? Everybody's finishing. Yeah, everybody's been finishing up in about a minute and a half, except for Michael, who can just like do the whole 3 minutes. Because it's
You
good
need
at
30
it.
minutes.
So we'll do 1 minute. Let's do 1 minute. We'll go fast. 1 minute.
All right.
So
Can I go first? This time?
No, we lost. Stop trying to sneak in.
All right. So we got 2 chances to take Michael's answers. All right.
yeah.
We got 1 minute. All right. Ready?
I'm the one who finds this the most difficult, Dev. Ooh.
All
Ooh.
right.
Well,
Let's go. You're on.
Okay, wait. So euphilia is out. That covered all euphilia?
Yeah.
Rough. Okay, so what have we done? So mushrooms are out.
So the timer's going.
I'm not answering him. If he runs out of time before he does it, that's on him.
Oh my
How long you
god.
got? 20, 30 seconds?
It's only got a minute. You
Oh,
only
we
got a
got 20
minute.
seconds. We got
Okay,
40
fine.
seconds.
Okay, the next one on my list, I would say my favorite for in the LPS zone, which I would still consider very easy, is acans. Acans are amazing colors. They're big puffy heads. Same thing like Zoas. They're very colorful. You can get rainbow acans and all kinds of crazy colors. If you can actually see the background, I got like a little acan garden just to the side of my head there. Tons of
15
them.
seconds.
They are super easy. All you do feed them once in a while and they'll grow like crazy. Very, very easy. They like fairly low light, and I would definitely recommend them. And so far,
6,
I've never killed one,
5.
so they've been good. 3,
Awesome.
2, 1, and they're beautiful. Beautiful.
Nice.
Put the pressure on them.
All right, we're not gonna have time for CJ to think. All right, CJ, you have 1 minute.
All right, here we go.
Let's do it.
It's empty. It's all good because I've been fake drinking this for the last 5 minutes. Because I'm already ready, baby. I'm already ready. My core is going to be very, very easy to keep. Something people don't think about. Sulfastria corals. Now, one of the most common ones is going to be meteor shower. Had this in my JBJ, a little nugget of it. Very bright colored coral, teal with red polyps, and then
30
crust.
seconds.
Takes off growing everywhere, man. Low light requirements, low flow requirements. And it's definitely a great coral. And it comes in many, many different colors. Now, meteor shower is one I just added to the top peak of my 120 gallon. It's very cheap, very common. You get a little pug of it, put it on your rock, let it take off. Tons of color.
10 seconds.
Definitely great success for anyone that's new in the hobby. Now, on to Michael. Find something else besides SPS. Boom.
Oh,
See, first of all,
well done.
I got picked up about the Monty Cap, and I'm going to pick you up on the Sulfastria because I've kept multiple Sulfastrias and not been able to. I don't know if that's a beginner coral. So everybody that's watching this right now in the comment section as well, is a Sulfastria a beginner coral? Do you agree with CJ or do you not? I'd like to know as well.
Sulfastria survived the tank that I killed Xenia with the money.
Ooh.
Okay, so
That's all.
Sulfastria.
I'm interested. What did he say?
So I have branching and encrusting, and that stuff is mean. It will kill anything, so it's definitely a survivor.
It's a survivor. All right, so I'm definitely interested. Like in the comments, let me know what you guys think.
We'll let the people decide.
I'm a bit ooh with that one, right? So
All right, so it sounds like Michael got something.
I don't.
He's nervous. He was nervous.
I'm nervous. I'm trying to talk.
deflect.
I'm trying to talk
Come
to
on.
keep it away from coming to me.
Oh, all right. Well, you got 1 minute. Ready to go?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. On the
Right.
clock.
So my choice is candy canes. Candy canes.
That's a
candy
good
cane.
one.
So
Good
candy
choice.
canes is an LPS coral. LPS, large polyp stony, whatever you want to call it. Candy canes are a nice. They can be quite an easy coral. Again, it's all based on you just maintaining your water, keeping those water parameters. Just do your water changes as you regularly would. At least once a week. Get those water changes done, and you are going to benefit from an absolutely stunning coral, which can grow into these beautiful balls of multiple heads. And you get various different colors as well. You can get like a mint green color. You can get like a vibrant toxin green color. You can get like a purple, like a dark purple with like green centers, multiple different colors. And when they grow into these ball shapes, all these heads, they look absolutely brilliant. So very, very rewarding for, very little work. All you got to do your water changes,
1 minute.
provide them with moderate light, and you're good. That done?
Awesome. That's it. That's a great one. That's a great choice, man.
That was a good choice. Sneak.
Up to you.
Man, how many we got left?
All right.
That's
One
we
right
got
here,
to-
last one.
Are we done
All
now?
right.
Oh, it's just you now.
I gotta go now. I gotta go now. All
So
right.
you,
The
Moki,
thing
what
is,
do you
I
got?
always thought I was last, but you are. Let's see what you got.
Ooh.
Okay, timer's on. I'm gonna cheat a little bit because technically I'm not sure if this counts as a coral. I'm gonna pick Gorgonian.
Yeah.
It's a coral.
I don't know on this one.
Let's hear the argument.
Do you think it's a coral? All right.
Oh,
So Gorgonian.
No, but it is a coral, but I don't believe it's a beginner. But I'm go on. Go on.
Specifically, the type that has brown polyps. It's
There you
really
go.
important.
Yeah,
Really, really
that's an
important.
easy
Okay.
So usually Gorgonians, when the polyp is brown, it means it's photosynthetic. For the most part, double check, but for the most part, that is. When you see, for example, the yellow finger, that's pretty popular with the white polyps, those are MPS. So they don't get any energy. They don't get any like sugar from the from the lights. So make sure the Gorgonians that you get, it's brown. Typically they have purple skin, which looks great, the brown polyps, and there's different morphs as well. Now the reason I really like Gorgonian is because like the form, it looks almost like they have that vertical form similar to SPS, but in terms of care level, it's a much less. And I just hit the 1 minute mark. You guys have to do some research on your own.
That's right.
All right.
I like that. I like that.
I will throw a quick plug out because I do have the purple Candlebra Gorgonian. I think it does have the brownie polyps, is mainly purple skin, but yeah, I do nothing. That thing thrives in the tank. So I will give you that one for a beginner.
Awesome.
Is
Yeah.
there any way, inappropriate, is there any way you can sneak a little poll on the top right of the screen and let the people vote? There should be 4 slots. Let them vote who the winner of the thing was.
Great idea.
Let's
So
find
guys,
out.
if I figure this out, right here at the top right of your screen, there should be a poll, just like CJ said, and just let us know who do you think the winner is. Who has the? You can use whatever criteria you to judge. Whether it's the best recommendation or the most like curveball ones or most whatever you like. Okay, just let us know who do you think the winner is.
Who provided you with the best choices? Do you reckon? Let us know in the poll. The poll should be over Mockie's left shoulder, up in the top.
Like who has the most hair? Vote for the person who has the most hair.
Hey, say that. Look at Dev. Dev's got some hair.
Dev's got nice hair
No,
here,
it's
too.
not about Deb. He just eliminated us.
I know we did.
All right, guys. Well, that was it. That's it for this episode of the 4 Reefers. This is kind of like a fun one. Hopefully, you get some good information out of it as well. If you have any additional question, leave a comment. One of us is going to get back to you. And we are always looking for future topics. Like usually we sit down, we try to brainstorm. What do we think people want to hear? And what's a better way than asking you guys directly? So if you have any topic suggestions, please leave a comment down here. And if we pick it, we can mention it in the video as well to thank you personally. So once again, we are the 4 Reefers. First, we got Michael from Aaron's Aquarium.
Hi guys. So yes, I've also done a show on my channel. We was talking about making that transition between freshwater and saltwater. So if that's a subject that is interesting to you, get over to the Aaron's Aquarium YouTube channel and check that one out. Mocky will have a playlist on his channel with all of the previous 4 Reefers show, including this one, so it's easier for you to find.
Awesome. And then of course we got CJ of CJ's Aquarium.
What is going on, everybody? For those that don't know, I'm the famous man that kills Xenia. No, I'm just playing. I'm just the guy with the cell phone. And if you want to catch episode 2 of the 4 series, it was covering how to get past your algae issues, which was a huge problem for me, for those that know about it. Come check it out. A lot of great information. Definitely will help you get over the hurdle and hopefully help you defeat it, once and for all. So come check it out.
All right. And finally, we got Dev from Reef Dudes.
Hey guys, and if you missed episode 3, head over to the Reef Dudes channel. We're following up on the whole algae issue, is talking about cleanup crew, what you want to do, what you don't want to do, and, making a good selection for what works in your tank.
All right, guys. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Once again, I will have all the other channels in the video description below. And once again, if you have ideas for a topic you want us to cover, please leave a comment. We'd really appreciate it. Now, with that said, the next episode is going to be aired on Michael's channel, Aaron's Aquarium. So be sure to check that out, and we'll see you next time.
See you later, guys.
Yo. Pick me.